Yeah.
And this is I really do believe this. I believe that it has become a financial space, and you can pull people into it by not having any rules. There's no rules or regulations. Did you know that? Anyone can be trans.
But how do you think this started and became well, I know transgender is a thing that people have said in the past. Like, do you think we're at that point where it's more of a trend, and why do you think it started?
Well, it's a heavy question. And so what I'll say is this, 100% I think it's a trend. I 100% think it's a social contagion. And the
Mhm.
reason I think that, remember, I'm 61 and I've been doing this for a long time, and I have been doing it prior to the internet where nobody was hardly trans. When I did it here in Los Angeles, there was nobody. I was the first person to do it with both of my doctors, and they actually called me a guinea pig. So, but anyway, that being said, we move forward now 30 something years later, and there's 100 billion times more, right? Young people,
Yeah.
especially young girls, 4,000% increase. Anybody in their right mind, I don't care if you're trans, I don't care, you're going to go, wait, these numbers make zero sense
Yeah.
in no way, shape, or form. But me as an actual transsexual is going, nope. No way, no way. And here, so what I saw is that number one. Then what I saw number two was these certain tropes that were, you don't need gender dysphoria to be trans. That's like saying you don't need cancer to have cancer. It's basically the same. It's like saying
Yeah.
I can self-diagnose as having cancer because
Right.
you don't have to have it. So it's exactly the same thing. This is a mental disorder, my friend, even though, so
Mhm.
then they're trying to say it's not a mental disorder, that it's just a thing that you feel and you have feelings and that's how you are. I was like, oh, the slippery slope, my friends. I saw it coming. It's like teetering. And then on top of that, I saw tons and tons of new affirmation therapists. I saw tons and tons of this pushing of puberty blockers. I saw tons and tons of more surgeons claiming they were trans and operating on all of these young people under the age of 18. And I'm like, no, this isn't happening. This is now a factory.
Yeah.
And this is I really do believe this. I believe that it has become a financial space, and you can pull people into it by not having any rules. There's no rules or regulations. Did you know that? Anyone can be trans. So I'm
Wow.
like, this is sloppy. This isn't even medicine. There's no other diagnosis or anything where you could just go on the internet, get hormones. Do you know how insane that is, dude, to get testosterone on the internet
Yeah.
after a 20-minute intake with a therapist who
Yeah.
doesn't really even care about you? So you see all of those things plugging into place for me. I'm like, wait a minute, these kids. And then the last thing I'm going to say is detransitioners.
Wow.
That was the last Lego for me, right? That was the
Right.
last thing to build that, and I knew it. I said, "That's it. This is not real."
Right. And something I do know, like I know that the detransitioner, the detransitioners seem to be a small portion of people who transition. But
Mhm,
when I look at this from a very like outside perspective,
mhm.
I think this is one of those issues that, I mean, we hear from the left a lot, like if it could save one life, like we should do it, right? But the thing when I look at the severity of these like surgeries,
Mhm.
the effect that hormone blockers have on kids who are going through puberty, and not even knowing like what the long-term effect is of pausing puberty, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Whatever.
yeah, and that to me is like if it was one person saying that I went through this and I was pushed through really fast, like that's something that we can't ignore. We can't
That's right.
ignore, and like I might be being a bit hyperbolic here, but experimenting on children, like it seems like a big experiment, and
Yeah.
we're going to come very soon to, uh, well, how could we have known? How could we have known that this was bad? And that's what they're going to ask for everyone's forgiveness on the matter,
That's right. No, I
and
say it all the
that's
time. I say that all the time, friend, because you're 100% right there. Why are we doing this to children? That was
yeah,
I forgot that was my actual real last Lego in the
yeah,
castle. Children.
mhm,
I've been transitioned for we never ever spoke about children. Ever. That was never part of the equation. The whole point is to go to a therapist to get out of gender dysphoria, not to get into. They are pulling
right,
these kids into gender dysphoria. I'm like, can't you see it? You're supposed to be trying to have them grow out. That's what they did with me. They gave me years of time to try to figure it out, be a butch lesbian, be this, be that. Nope, couldn't grow out of it. Okay, dude, you're 30. Make your choice. But to do that to a 10-year-old and to lie to 10-year-olds and say, we're going to change your sex or your gender is a lie.